My name is Joe Trottier. I am the wrestling, boxing, and one of the MMA coaches at the Academy of Combat Arts in Fargo, North Dakota. My tribal affiliation is that I'm a member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. Growing up, I had a really supportive family. I cannot say enough about my family, and that goes with my parents, my brothers, my sisters, all the way into my extended family. But that doesn't mean that I didn't see kind of what was going on as far as the poverty, the hard times, the struggles that some of my peers, as well as some of even my friends, were going through. So my claim to fame is that I am one of the MMA coaches at the most successful mixed martial arts school in North Dakota. I've coached multiple regional title winners as well as grappling winners. And I've also coached 2 UFC fighters. The Ultimate Fighting Championships is the biggest stage in the world when it comes to mixed martial arts. And I have been fortunate enough to even travel the world. I've been to Northern Ireland, I've been to England, I've been to Croatia, as well as other places in the United States, just to do my craft. I basically got into it by accident. So I had some struggles just in school in general. I ran into some financial aid issues, and I actually had to go back to my home where I wasn't really that happy, but I picked up wrestling because I've always known wrestling. Wrestling has been my life. I had my first competitive match when I was 4 years old, and I had my last competitive match when I was like 20. And basically I coached wrestling, and then when I came back to Fargo, I picked up a role of an MMA coach for the amazing Martin brothers, Sheldon and Marshall. They were boxers that are also from the same hometown as myself, and they needed help with wrestling. So from then on, they liked my coaching style. So I had a buddy named Tyler Larson who actually opened up his own gym. When he opened up his own gym, he immediately asked me to be one of the coaches. And then kind of moving from there, Dylan Spicer, the head coach at the Academy of Combat Arts, and Tyler merged gyms, and I was brought along on as a coach. So I actually started out as a coach here. I had a 45-minute class, and it was a wrestling class. And I built up. People just liked the way, I don't know if it was because I'm a good coach or because I'm good looking, I'm not sure, but they liked my classes, and I just kind of built into everything. From there, I picked up a lot more striking. I was teaching the striking classes. Of course, I had the wrestling, and I even moved on into the women's kickboxing program too. From then, I just kept working with MMA fighters and working and working and working. And eventually what happened was fighters started getting really good, and they started winning championships.
My name is Dylan Spicer, and I'm the head coach owner of the Academy of Combat Arts here in Fargo, North Dakota. We've been in business for 9 years now, and we're still rocking and rolling. Come check us out. We've got all ages. We've got kids programs, women's only jiu-jitsu, women's only kickboxing, boxing, wrestling, and Muay Thai. You can find out more at our website at ep.2. We have a free 30-day trial as well, so there's no harm in trying it out for the first time, but everybody's welcome here. Joe brings so many different things to the table. I mean, you could basically pick up a Bible and replace the word Jesus with Joe in a lot of ways. Honestly, he comes in and he brings like a positive vibe to everything he's doing. He's always in a good mood. He's one of those guys that if you tell me you don't like Joe, right away, immediately, I'm suspicious of you because he's one of those rare people that pretty much everybody likes. The only reason not to like him is because he's almost too nice sometimes. Joe's positive vibe and positive attitude the whole time does a lot for the gym, and it creates a really good environment here, and that's just part of his overall good character, and it kind of sets the precedence for the rest of the people around here to maintain that positive attitude despite whatever else is happening in your life. And that's part of the environment that we like to create when you're training. You know, this is a place that you come to you know, get away from your troubles and get a good workout in and feel good about yourself. And Joe brings that all the time.
My name is Tim Johnson. I'm an MMA fighter who's currently fighting under the UFC banner. Ranked 15 in the world. for free time, here at Fargo. I work at a bar, and I'm also a student at Minnesota State University Moorhead, where I'll be finishing a degree in criminal justice. Starting my MMA career, I basically came here over to the Academy of Combat Arts, and the ACA for short. Training-wise, it was just I was just an old wrestler. I wrestled in college and then transferred over to MMA, and I think that's where Joe really took a notice in me, knowing my wrestling pedigree. Him himself being a wrestler and just getting very knowledgeable and very talented in the boxing aspect of sport, and just knowing MMA all together, really took me under his wing as the striking coach without there was no conversation, nothing. It was just, hey, we're gonna teach you how to box, and that's what we do. And from day one, that's basically what we've been doing, and we're still trying. But I'm kind of a stubborn student, so he's doing the best he can with me.
Working with Joe Trottier for fight camps is great because of the intensity of what we do, and the reality of what we do can get us, hurt, get somebody killed. It's happened before. It's real serious. It's a serious game that we play. But Joe always brings that infectious, positive attitude to the fight camp and lightens the mood. So not only his skill set and his wisdom with wrestling and boxing and all the MMA training that he's been doing, but again, going back to his attitude, I think that's what separates Joe from a lot of people and a lot of coaches specifically, is he's got a really good, fun attitude about everything all the time. Even if Joe's having a crappy day, you'd never know it, So Joe brings that to the table, and that always makes the fight camp a lot more enjoyable, I think, for everybody when he's around, and it just kind of lightens the mood when things get a little too tense.
Joe's been to every one of my fights all my career except 2, and he's lucky. Actually, I lost my last fight. I lost he was there, so we know he's not the bad luck guy, because every time, or the good luck guy. My previous 2 fights that I lost, my previous only 2, Joe wasn't there, so we thought he was a good luck guy. But I lost, so you're welcome, Joe. It's not your fault. But leading up to when we're traveling around the world, we're traveling to different cities, and Joe's there. I've always noticed it in my camp, or that week of the fight, it's a comfortability thing. Athletes, as many people know, are creatures of habit. You want the exact same thing, the exact same way every time, to build up till the fight night. When one of the people that usually corner you isn't there, nothing seems like it's gelling 100% right. And Joe is definitely probably the main one that I've noticed, that there's just so much stuff that we do leading up with our mitt sessions, with our working out, with Joe stays on me a little bit about getting stuff done the week of the fight, and he's actually, out of all the ones, the corners we bring, he's probably a little bit more of the active ones that I associate with for training wise. So when he's not there, it's definitely noticeable.
So one of the biggest things that really helped me in just being involved in such big fights and fighters' careers is just by the chance that I chose to show up. So I didn't have to do this. I did it because I loved it, and I constantly showed up. I showed up. And the more you show up to do something, the better you're going to get at it. People are going to respect you a lot more. People are going to respect your opinion. And just because of that, people started accepting me as a coach, and I'm forever grateful for that.
A skill set that Joe definitely brings to the table is his personality. Anyone who's ever talked to Joe knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't know what we're talking about, just go on Twitter, # Joe knows. You'll know exactly what we're talking about in that aspect. But just his attitude he brings into the gym every day, always positive, always happy-go-lucky, and when it's time to get work done, still time to get work done, but he does it with a smile on his face. So in that that attribute is tough to find. Coaches, no matter you're a gym owner or head coach of a wrestling team, assistant coach of a wrestling team, or just striking coach. They can be a little drill sergeant-y. As a former vet, I don't like doing that. I don't like seeing that stuff when I train. So it's nice having Joe come in and just be a nice, easy face to look at sometimes, I guess. And he's going to run you through the ringer, but he's going to be nice about it.
So a couple of ways that I would just inspire the people of the Native American community would just be that you hold one of the most powerful things that nobody can take away from you, and that's the power of choice. So you can choose anything from any particular situation, whether it's uncontrollable situation or a controllable situation. You always have the choice as to what you do. You can go down a negative path or you can go down a positive path. A lot of times people choose the bad, and that's where the stereotypes come from. That's where the racism comes from. So you definitely have the power to choose what you do. If you're put in front of drugs and alcohol, you can say no. I live a very clean lifestyle. I was in the same environment as a lot of people. I know the different types of peer pressure that can be involved, and I said no. And that was a big part of my life. And just you have the power of choice, and you can choose whatever you want to do. Another big thing is just don't waste any time in doing what you want to do. If this motivates you at all in any kind of way, shut this off and get your shoes on and get going to whatever it is you want to do. Whether you want to start a business, whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to do anything that inspires you or that you're passionate about, get going. And don't be afraid to fail. The fear of failure is what stops so much of us. I know from personal experience, I didn't care. I wanted to go out and get off the res and go to a big college and be a wrestler. And whenever I got sent back, I had my struggles. But I came back and I bounced back. Everybody loves the comeback story. So just not being afraid to fail is such a huge thing. You definitely have to get past that. If you're afraid to try anything in life, you're not going to get the job you deserve. You're not going to get the promotion you deserve. You're not going to get the girls you want or guys. You're just going to miss out on so many different things in life. So just do it. Set big goals. That's what I was going to talk about, setting goals, all right? So goals are very important in anything you do. Set goals and smash them. Set big goals, set little goals, set weekly goals, daily goals, yearly goals. Write them down, journal them. That's how you're going to get better at pretty much anything. You got to have a goal and you got to keep striving, keep going. And even if you get knocked down, get back up. As long as you keep going, it's all about the process. You may not get the gold medal, you may not become rich and famous, but it's all about the process. I promise you, the experiences you get are going to be just as much as whatever you were attaining to. Already, I'm not a big, rich, famous MMA trainer, but I have been to 3 different countries just because of what I do. And if I were to stop doing what I am doing today, I'd be able to look at basically, my career as a success. One kind of thing that I heard, actually on a podcast, I heard, you want to live your life so that if they were to tell you the world is going to end tomorrow, you want to be able to just go sit by a fire with your loved ones and just talk about how cool life was and just talk about all your experiences rather than trying to rush into things and try to get as much as you've done because it should already be done. I don't really look up to like a lot of famous people. I guess what inspires me is kind of the common man. people who wake up in the morning and contribute to society in a successful and positive way. That mom and dad who goes to work and they come back and they put food on their kids' table. They're showing up at every single kid's sporting events. They're doing the work just in being a positive role model. That's more inspiring to me than somebody who makes millions and millions of dollars. And just to me, like I said, that shows so much, faith in humanity, and that's what I look up to be. That's what I want to do. I want to contribute. I want to be a positive role model, and just make sure that I'm constantly working towards something that's definitely positive. So where do I see myself in 10 years? In 10 years, I definitely see myself still being involved in the mixed martial arts. It's my goal. Right now I do work a part-time job, but it's definitely my goal just to make sure that this is the only thing I do. I think it would be very cool to actually get out to different reservations and kind of put on seminars or just do something getting to help other people, just whether in mixed martial arts. The warrior culture in just being a Native American is a very real thing. If you look all the way back to history, the warriors and Native Americans and fighting just so happens to be basically what we survived on. So I think that a lot of people connect to fighting. So just because of that, they're going to be a lot more drawn to it. So I want to do something in the mixed martial arts community for Native Americans. But on top of that, I plan on, my main goal is to train a champion. I want a UFC champion. I'm not going to stop until I either die or until I have helped out somebody win the UFC championship belt. It's all good. It's all good. Actually, Hulk Hogan and Al Bundy are my heroes, if I could say any hero. But yeah, Al Bundy, because if you can put up with Peggy Bundy that whole time, I mean, come on. We've all seen Married with Children. Al Bundy is definitely my hero.
That's actually a very good point. Very good point.
How was that answer? Was that dumb? Okay.
No.
Where do I see myself in 10 years? I see myself celebrating the 10th year anniversary of you asking me this question. Just kidding. That's actually a Mitch Hedberg quote. But anyway, so, dang, I kind of lost my train of thought. No, I'm not good because I still have more. I got, you're giving me freedom, and I'm a dangerous man when it comes to freedom, Kyle Segura.
Joe, just a side note, I always want you to know, I'm technically a North Dakotan now. I changed over a few years ago, but we all know where the better wrestlers come from. That's Minnesota.
He meant to say the best farmers come out of Minnesota, not the best wrestlers come out of Minnesota. Everybody knows they come from North Dakota. Minnesota wrestling is glorified JV. It's JV with the state wrestling tournament, and there's 3 classes.
All right. Real quick, one last thing. Who do you put your money on? Joe Trottier?
Joe Trottier.
Or Conor McGregor?
Joe Trottier. 100% of the time, bet the house, you will win. You will win. That's right. Okay. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He always